Well, hello, everyone. We're so excited for you all to be here and for us to get this underway. So it's my pleasure to introduce our first student speaker. And her journey began as a graduate of the Cordova High School in 2017. In 2020, she was a graduate of California State University, Sacramento, where she earned her degree in political science. And she is just finishing her first year, or in her first year of law school at the University of Pacific McGeorge School of Law. So it's my pleasure to introduce Wendy Martinez.
Hello, everyone. Oh, now I wish I maybe had an 8 before this. All right. Hello, I am Wendy Martinez, and I am truly honored to be here. As you guys may have heard, I am a first year at law school, and the only reason I reiterate that is because that would not have been possible without Miss Andrus over there, who has built me and also made me suffer, I will not lie. Honors English is very hard. And yet she has stuck with me all these years. My journey actually started as a first-generation student. Neither of my parents finished high school. I was a predominantly Spanish speaker, so forgive me for my English. And I have been learning as I go. My dad is currently still a yard worker, and I thought that my journey would end at high school. And then whatever happened after that is kind of whatever came. Thankfully, and even though in that moment I did not say thankfully, full disclosure, I decided to take an honors English class. I wasn't really allowed to take an honors English class for most of middle school. I could not pass the LPAC to save my life. So it took me a very, very long time to pass the LPAC. And then sophomore year of high school, I decided that I was going to stop self-selecting myself out of things just because I thought I didn't deserve them. So I walked into honors English. Now at this point, I did not like reading. And if you guys know anything about law school, it's all about reading. Oh my God. So I turned my enemy into my friend. Up until this point, I had not read a single book. SparkNotes was my best friend. Still enjoy SparkNotes, although they shouldn't make it for law books. So SparkNotes became my best friend, and I was going to get through honors English like that. Little did I know that once I walked into this classroom, it was going to be a complete different ballgame. Now, like I said, English and I didn't get along. Mrs. Andrus built me to be a student that became unafraid of my voice. I was someone who constantly compared myself to everyone in the room, and I was always at the bottom of that list. I could not write a single paper to save my life because I heard everyone typing a mile a minute, and I couldn't even form a single sentence in my head. She looked at me, and never did she judge me, and we still joke about this now. I asked her if I could sit under the desk. I sat under the desk, and I typed my essay. And instead of, most teachers would be like, "Are you insane? No, sit at your desk." She took me, and she was like, "We will do what you need." I sat under that desk. I typed my paper, I turned it in, I felt proud of it, I felt confident enough to share it with others, and today I'm actually a published author in an academic journal. Thank you. Thank you. Thanks to her, I started writing. I still couldn't deal with reading. I still didn't like it. Why would we start with Charles Dickens' Great Expectations? I don't know. That book is huge. And then she changed my life completely. She showed me a book that had names that were so similar to my family's names. She showed me this book where the words that were used were abuela, mama, Spanish words. I was like, there is no way I'm reading this book in honors English class. I think I've been transported somewhere else. And I talked to her about it. She gave me another book, and she said, "Welcome to the world of Chicano literature." And I ended up minoring in it. And as she showed me this, she showed me that there is a world that I could explore. This is what led me to go to college. And funny enough, when I graduated from undergrad, which was also very hard dealing with imposter syndrome, if it wasn't for her, I don't think I would have survived undergrad. She taught me in the classroom how to cite a book, and as important as the grammars of rules, rule grammar, all of that is, it was not her biggest lesson. It was to keep going, to believe in myself, to never for a moment doubt that my voice was important. When I graduated from Sacramento State University, yes, stingers up, I became an intervention teacher at a low-income elementary school. I taught English language learners from kinder to 5th grade. Little did I know at the same time, at a new location, Miss Andrus was doing exactly the same thing. So I was taking in every single thing that she did. And let me tell you, I was just an intervention teacher, so I had part-time little nice hours. She was doing full-time, full everything, and I would see everything she would say, every post she would write, every picture she would put. I would soak that in, take it, and realize, I hope she knows how impactful everything she's doing is, because now my students get to have the same thing. My students who don't speak English, who don't believe in themselves, who don't think college is an option for them, are now getting something because she believed in me enough to see something. And the most important thing I've learned, and I take it to this day, is her creation of this space that she gave me. She gave me a space where I didn't need to hide that my last name was Martinez, that I didn't need to hide that I was a Spanish speaker, that I built my entire life around my culture and my community. And instead of ever telling me, well, maybe let's look for something practical, she said, do it. And to this day, she supports me in everything. And truly, I can't believe I am a law student. And there is no way that I would have ever done it without you. Thank you so much.
While you're breathing, I just wanted to make sure that you don't faint.
I'll be good.
When we give you this
Thank you
from the
so
Carlson Family Foundation, Above and Beyond. And also this
Beautiful.
award.
I know some people would want to see the new one, so here it is.
Thank you so much. Right there.
Wow. I think I've shared this before. You know, as teachers, we get really excited if students come into our classroom and bring us a box of tissues, right? So to come here tonight is very overwhelming because this is a little out of our comfort zone. Wendy, I truly have never had any doubt about your successes, and what you've said tonight has certainly touched my heart. Many scholars believe that rigor, relevance, and relationships are the three components to a successful teacher. However, may I suggest a different order? I believe that putting relationships before rigor and relevance is what makes a teacher successful and what creates a magical classroom of learning. And may I share a few stories with you tonight that have impacted me as an educator. I remember in 2005 when I started my first journey at the middle school, it was really truly about 6 weeks into it. And I didn't do a traditional program as a student teacher. I went to Project Pipeline in Sacramento, and I was an intern, and then went to school Fridays and Saturday nights. And really baptism by fire is how I did it. And having 4 children at home and my husband as an administrator. And so I loved what I did, but I was very narrow in my thinking. I remember that it was September 20th, and I was taking roll. And I had said, it's September 20th, please get started on your warm-up and things like that. And a student very quietly said, Mrs. Andrus, what day is it? And I said, it's September 20th. And I could tell his whole demeanor, he just shrunk. And so I got the class going on their warm-up, and I walked over to him and I said, Marcus, what's going on? What's the matter? And he said, nothing, Miss Andrus. And I said, come on, talk to me. So I kneeled down next to him, and I said, what's so important about September 20th? And he said, it's my birthday. And I said, that is so exciting. And in my naivety, being a parent of 4 children, I said, what'd you have for breakfast? Where are you going tonight? I'm so excited. Tell me. And he said, Mrs. Andrus, no one at my house said happy birthday to me today. Cut me to the core. So quickly I go to my desk. I get him the few granola bars, pencils, things that we have, right? And I hand that to Marcus on his way out of my classroom and give him a huge hug. And with tears rolling down his face, he says, thank you. These are moments in our lives as educators that change us as a people and impact us. At the beginning of my class, sometimes I start with this video. It's called One Word That Will Change Your Life by John Gordon. He's an inspirational speaker, and I have my kids commit to words that can change their life, and they can look at these words every day. And this year, as I started at Hemet High School, a new high school for me, I had these kids commit to their words, and we put them on the wall out in the hallway, and every day we walk by them and we look at them. And I started with my own word, and this year my word was grace, that I was going to give my students more grace. More grace in time, more grace in opportunities, just grace to listen to them in the space that they need to be who they are. I'm so proud of them as each of them had chose their words that impacted them, and we get to talk about them. Another thing that I do with my students is we watch this video. It's by Michael Jr. He's a comedian, and it's about know your why. And this, to me, is so important. And maybe you've seen this video, and it's so impactful. What I love about this video, he says, when you know your why, your what has more impact because you're walking in or towards your purpose. And so my kids get to write down all the reasons why they do what they do. And right now I have this huge poster in my room, and it says, know your why, with some arrows on it. And they have sticky notes all over my board. And we get to talk about those whys, and they get to commit to those whys because they need to understand who they are and where they are going and what is that why behind it. During COVID, we all know it was not easy. Online teaching, I remember my young sophomore, I had a lady in my class that she was not doing well, and that is not acceptable to me, and so I need to talk to you about why you're doing this. She stayed after class in our Zoom session. It was just the 2 of us, and we were talking, and I said, I really want to help you. I can see that your grades are low. What is going on? What can I do to help you? And she said, Mrs. Andrus, you don't know this, but I'm pregnant. How would I know? I see your face. This is it. Right? And so I don't get to have that face-to-face interaction with you. And I said, what can I do to help you? We met every week after class. She would do her classes, and then I would make special time. She would come to tutoring, and then she would stay after tutoring with just she and I on Zoom. And she gave birth to a sweet little baby girl in the middle of that first semester. And she passed all her classes. That second semester, she did not. The only class she passed was mine. She did not want to tell her other teachers, and she asked me not to tell them. She had high blood pressure, and she was going in and out of the hospital during her pregnancy, and she was afraid to let other people know. We have to show our students a safe place. I remember after she gave birth to her little girl, I reached out to some family because my sister was also a teenage mother And together as family, we got some necessities together for her. And my husband and I drove over to her house, and we were able to give her some things. And I just remember going to her door, and I, again, had never met this young lady face to face other than through Zoom. And I remember she walked out, and oh, it was such a great occasion to meet her and to embrace her. And crying together, I was able to give her some necessities for her child. And she would text me every week little pictures of her baby and that relationship with her. And I wish I could do more. And I wish I could offer her more. I offered her what I could at that time. Relationships matter. Grace is real. Our whys motivate us and teach others, and students must come first. From Shakespearean insults to Julius Caesar eulogies, when a student brought in a coffin, hilarious, to spoken word poetry in my classroom, writing templates, reading 10 novels in our sophomore honors class, right, Wendy and Sammy? To Magic Lynn's grammar, LPAC testing, Google Translate when I don't speak the language. Having first-year ELD students read their first novel, cover to cover, Fahrenheit 451. Cooking a Thanksgiving dinner in a crock pot in my classroom for first-year ELD students who just came to Imperial Valley from Mexico. Flipgrid videos so they can hear their own voice, to digital storyboards, to helping my Russian student get into UCLA, his dream college, as the first one from his family to ever go to college, to special ed proms and so much more. I have an amazing career as an educator of the most vibrant, most brilliant young people. Even when they are faced with tremendous mountains to climb. They allow me to be in their lives and to be their greatest cheerleader, to share their accomplishments and their afflictions. They have left me a better human being. I have been privileged to be involved with over 3,000 students in my 18-year career. I have developed a passion for my curriculum, but better yet, a compassion for my students and their lives that have sustained me and taught me that classrooms can be a magical place of learning when teachers put relationships first. Then their curriculum and assessments and everything else will definitely fall into place. I am so grateful for this weekend and to be associated with the Carlson family. Together as educators, we are changing the world through relationships, rigor, and relevance. Thank you again for this tremendous honor, and I do not take it lightly.